Hi everyone, my name is Shivani and you're welcome to Happy Holi. Today we are going to talk about birth plans. In my last video, which was about how to choose a VBAC friendly care provider, I had mentioned that it might be worth your while to create a birth plan and discuss it with your care provider. So as promised, I'm following up with a video on what is a birth plan, why you need one, and what is the best way to create one. So let's go. So first of all, a birth plan, what is it? It is basically a list of your preferences for your birth. A birth plan is a very good way for you and your entire team to align on what are the different options that you are okay with the team taking up in case you are not able to make decisions. So again, VBAC birth plan especially is very beneficial for two reasons. The first one being that it may happen that at the time of your when you do go into labor and at the time of your delivery, your own doctor may not be there, some other care provider may be there, and in that case they should have an idea of what are your preferences for different scenarios. The second reason being that labor, being physically very intense, is not probably the best time to be making decisions. There are some decisions that you already want to have made, or at least you want to have a point of view on them, and at least you want to kind of, in your most rational mind, you want to kind of convey that and discuss that with your care provider. A birth plan is also very helpful for your partner who may be there, who may not be there, who may not be clear about how to convey what you want to your care provider. So a birth plan is essentially your document where you and your entire team, which is your doula if you choose to have one, which I highly recommend by the way, your doula, your partner or whoever your birth partner is, your mom, whoever, and your team of doctors. So all of you are aligned on that one document, and let me just take you to my document now. So my birth plan was very simple. It was divided into three stages. The first being that when I'm in my active stage of labor, the first thing that I wanted was that my waters should break naturally. There should be no artificial rupture of membranes. I had a preference for food and water. I wanted to be able to eat and drink in labor instead of having an IV inserted in me. I wanted to have free movement, and I wanted intermittent monitoring, which basically means that I wanted to be as free as possible to labor naturally. I also, for pain relief, I had clearly mentioned that I do not want an epidural, which I'm going to talk about in just a bit. And then as you see, I had certain preferences for, the way I wanted to push. I did not want to push on my back. I had said no to an episiotomy, and, I had a few post-birth asks as well. So, at my about 37-38 week checkup, we took this document to my doctors and we had a detailed discussion along with them, and the doctor was able to clearly spell out that okay, this is what we can do and this is where things will be a challenge, and we were at least all able to agree on a broad plan of action. So one way this birth plan was extremely helpful in my delivery was that it helped my partner say no and have an opinion when I was not being my most rational self. So for example, it was labor and I was in pain and I was asking for an epidural, but like I also mentioned in my VBAC story that in my case we found that an epidural had actually stalled my labor. So in my second labor and delivery, I was very clear that we were both very clear that we did not want an epidural if we wanted for the VBAC to be a success. So even when I was asking for an epidural at that time, screaming for one is more like it, my partner was able to say that no, we are not going to take an epidural, and he was kind of able to be the rational one. Of course, not everything went according to my birth plan. I did end up getting an episiotomy. I did end up ultimately pushing on my back. But I think what was really helpful was that these things were a completely last minute decision. It was not, the go-to for the doctor, the team of doctors, or for us. We knew that there was another way of doing things and we wanted to kind of try our best. And then, when push came to shove is when we kind of said that, okay, we'll I'll do the needful. So it prevents a lot of firefighting, it prevents a lot of knee-jerk reactions that you may have at the time of labor, and you know, it kind of helps everyone be aligned. So especially for example, in my post-birth asks, you know, there was delayed cord clamping, and I wanted immediate skin to skin and immediate breastfeeding. So all of that, you know, all of that was kind of followed, and you know, which was very helpful. So you know, it's kind of like this. You want your best self making certain decisions and having that discussion with your doctor. You know, you don't want your emotional, irrational self that can't drive a car, you don't want that self to be making the decisions at that point. And to that effect, a birth plan is extremely helpful. So I would highly encourage you to create your birth plan, to also look up this book called Mama Natural, week by week guide to childbirth. You know, it's also a book that I have mentioned in my must read books during your pregnancy. Please check it out, and she kind of has a very nice visual birth plan that you can kind of simply copy and paste and kind of take to your care provider. It's very visual, it's very you know, very succinct. It's a very nice way to deliver a birth plan. So I wish you all the best, and please take care. All the best for your birth journey, and till the next time we meet, bye.